Okay, so let's jump right in. Think about it. Every single one of us navigates life using a map. Not a paper map, of course, but a mental map. It's our beliefs, our worldviews, it's the way we make sense of everything. And these maps, they guide every single decision we make, whether it's in our business, our relationships, or our own personal growth.
But here's the big question, right? What if your map is incomplete? The source material for this explainer uses a perfect metaphor. Would you ever try to fly a plane over the Rocky Mountains with a bad map? No way! You'd crash. And yet so many of us are trying to navigate the incredible complexity of modern life with maps that are totally outdated or just plain partial.
And this leads us to a really powerful idea. At its core, every single problem is a map problem. See, when our maps don't actually match the territory of reality, we get stuck. We run into confusion, conflict, and we miss out on these huge opportunities for success and fulfillment simply because our map doesn't even show us that they're there.
So what if there was a better map? One that was more complete, more accurate, a better map of the human experience itself. Well, that's exactly the promise of what's called the integral approach. It's a framework that's specifically designed to make sure you're touching all the bases, giving you the most comprehensive view possible for any situation you're in.
A great way to think about it is like a new operating system for your mind, an integral operating system, or iOS. Just like the OS on your phone or your computer, it doesn't really add new apps. Instead, it creates an infrastructure that allows all your existing programs, your career, your relationships, your hobbies, to run way more smoothly and effectively together.
And get this, what's so cool about this is that it's not some abstract theory you have to go out and learn. These 5 key elements are basically the contours of your own consciousness. They are available to you in your own awareness right this very second. You just have to learn how to spot them.
And here they are. These are the 5 core elements that make up this integral map: quadrants, levels, lines, states, and types. Now, to give you a feel for how this works, we're going to focus on 3 of the most essential ones for now. That's quadrants, levels, and states.
So first up, the quadrants. This is a super simple but honestly revolutionary way to make sure that we're looking at any situation from all the important perspectives, both from the inside and from the outside. The easiest way to get your head around this is to just think about simple pronouns. First, you've got the I perspective. That's my own personal, subjective thoughts and feelings. Then you've got the we perspective. That's our shared culture, our values, our mutual understanding. And finally, there's the it perspective, the objective, scientific, observable stuff. Any truly comprehensive approach has to include all 3. So this grid right here shows us the full model. These perspectives don't just exist for the individual, they're there at the collective level too. So you can see we have the I and the it up top for the individual, and then we have the we and the its, like social systems, at the bottom for the collective. The absolute crucial point here is that all 4 of these are essential. If you really want to understand any situation, you have to look at it through all 4 of these quadrants. All right, let's move on to the next key element and see how this map starts to get built out. If the quadrants are kind of the horizontal dimensions of our map, then levels, or stages, are the vertical dimension. They represent our journey of growth and development over time. A really simple way to see this in action is just to look at our own moral development. We all start out at an egocentric level, right? Where our main concern is just me. As we grow, we hopefully expand to an ethnocentric level, where we start to care for us, our family, our group, our nation. But the goal of real, mature development is to reach a world-centric level, where that circle of care and compassion includes all of us, everyone, no matter their background.
Now, the most important thing to remember about these stages is that they are permanent. Once you've earned a certain level of awareness, once you've grown to that stage, it becomes a stable part of who you are. It's an enduring acquisition, a milestone in your growth that you get to keep. And that makes it very, very different from our next element.
So let's talk about states. Unlike those permanent stages we just discussed, states are temporary. They're shifts in your awareness. Think of them as glimpses into different ways of seeing and being in reality, and they come and go.
And you are already totally familiar with states of consciousness, I promise. The most basic ones are waking, dreaming, and deep sleep. We cycle through those every day. But we also experience all sorts of other states, like meditative states, maybe some altered states, or those incredible peak experiences you might have while you're deep in nature or listening to amazing music.
Okay, so let's be super clear on this distinction, because it is absolutely vital. Stages are temporary glimpses. You can have a peak experience of a higher state, right? A brief window into a more expanded awareness. But stages are permanent structures. They are the actual, stable capacities you build through growth and practice. Here's the key. You can't skip stages, but you can get a preview of them through states.
And here's where it all gets really, really powerful. The source material puts this beautifully. With practice, you will convert those states into stages, or permanent traits in the territory of you. You see? Those temporary glimpses you get in peak states, they're showing you your own potential. They're showing you what's possible for you. And practice, that's the engine that turns those fleeting states into stable, permanent stages of your own being.
So, when you start putting these elements together, the quadrants, the levels, and the states, you begin to build this incredibly powerful inner operating system. You get a map that helps you see not just the world out there, but yourself in a much richer, more complete way.
And look, this isn't just some intellectual exercise. The whole point of having a better map is so you can navigate the territory of your life more skillfully. An integral view helps you make more effective decisions, understand other people more deeply, and, honestly, accelerate your own personal growth. Now for a final, and I think one of the most fascinating applications of this entire framework. What happens when we take this integral map and we apply it to one of the most contentious areas of human life, religion and spirituality? Well, it offers a startlingly new role for them. Instead of seeing different religions, or even different stages of a single faith, as constantly being in conflict, an integral view sees them as part of a developmental sequence. It suggests that religion can act as this great conveyor belt, meeting people exactly where they are on their journey and guiding them toward greater maturity and wider compassion. This means creating a spirituality that can include all the stages of growth, from the magic beliefs of early childhood to the powerful mythic stories of tradition. See, a healthy spirituality doesn't ask you to discard those earlier stages. It asks you to integrate them into a more mature understanding that also embraces the rational, the pluralistic, and eventually a truly integral consciousness. So ultimately, the aim of an integral life practice is holistic development. It's about using this map to consciously cultivate every aspect of your being, your body, your mind, and your spirit. And crucially, to see how that personal growth connects to the health of our culture and our planet. It touches all the bases: self, culture, and nature. So here's the final, crucial takeaway. Your map doesn't just guide you through reality. In a very real way, it creates your reality. It literally determines what you can see, what you value, and what you believe is possible. Which leaves us with a final question to reflect on. What new worlds, what new potentials, and what deeper truths could you discover with a more integral map?